Hi there. I'm dashing this off quickly, audio only, because I split it off from a longer video and I wanted to give it more focus and more people asked. I didn't expect it would be this popular, but it kept coming up and more wanted to know. That in a new interview with awards website goldderby.com, director Alan Taylor confirmed that House of the Dragon Season 2 was originally planned to have 10 episodes. But at the last minute, this was cut to only 8. Now, we already knew that by now, though it's nice to see that by this point, crew are openly admitting it. At early Season 2, they were playing the game of, no, this was a story decision. Then Sarah Hess flat out came out and said, no, this wasn't our choice. I wish they were just honest with us. But now they're just casually, it wasn't even a big thing in the interview that I just putting on the screen here is the only image, that he said, yes, it was originally planned as 10, not 8. The really new piece of info in this that he shared is that in the original 10-episode season, he was going to direct episode 9 out of 10. Which means that Alan Taylor was originally going to direct the Battle of the Gullet. A massive naval battle with dragons in it, like half a dozen dragons, which was pushed back to the first episode of Season 3. That he said I wasn't originally going to do Rook's Rest, that when I was reshuffled and we lost Gullet, it was pushed into Season 3. I got reshuffled to episode 4 for the Battle of Rook's Rest, and he's very proud of the work he put into Rook's Rest. He said, originally I wasn't assigned to that one. What's the point in reporting on this? It confirms that the cutback from 10 to 8 episodes, it's just another piece of info confirming that this was so late in production that the episodes were already assigned to directors. This was totally the last minute. On top of that, right before an upcoming writer's strike, there was no time to rewrite the season into an 8-episode format ending with a battle. It was literally pencils down time. What you saw as the finale of Season 2 felt like episode 8 out of 10, because it literally was. It was the 8th script out of 10 they had done when filming began. Scripts 9 and 10 were done. They were just left sitting on a shelf somewhere. Now, originally, like I said, I wasn't going to make a video on this at all, but when I shared the post to social media over the past 24 hours, it started spreading a lot. People were really interested in this, because it's news to new groups of people all the time, because the media isn't covering as well as they should, that I figured I might as well share it here because it was blowing up on my other social media feeds, but I'm disgusted at the groupthink accusations against the showrunners, even when I disagree with them. The level of discourse has lowered. I'll talk about that more, and I am working on, I said, a dedicated video about the things Condell said in that Entertainment Weekly thing, and his use of Martin. I've been researching it a lot. I'm going to make a longer, more dedicated video. Everything in the news these days. That I have made a mental shift, and by this point, I really do think it's more than just production problems. It's not just Martin upset that they have to cut Nettles when that might have been for time. It might not have been. It may be that Condell never wanted her. It felt like she was on the bubble in a fallback plan that they might be able to, certainly not with a 10-episode season. And I think they can make something presentable to TV-only viewers without that, much as I regret it. But looking through this, it's clearly Martin talking about things which have not happened yet. He is not talking about Season 2. At most, he's talking about things Season 2 set in motion or made tiny changes like the blood and cheese thing that are leading to other changes in Seasons 3 and 4 he doesn't like. Which apparently I'm starting to think, well, starting to believe are not purely due to budget reasons, that even if they had the budget, there's some things the showrunners felt they needed to change for the purposes of television. And that is a thing in the process of adaptation that is a legitimate choice that It is legitimate for a showrunner to conclude in good faith, I feel I need to change this. That might not change the fact they're wrong in that specific case. Other times they could be right. I'm just saying that is part of their job of choosing what story parts to put in and what not. And if they have a rationale for it, I would respect that as much as I disagree with it. That it's something beyond just these production issues. But the bulk of the issues that the regular viewers had and what we had for season 2 were production related. That double blow of a last-minute episode count cut. I mean, what's the top criticism from the really casual viewers is, where's my battle? They don't care about characters that were cut that they don't even know about. So I don't know how the rhetoric would change after they get a normally structured season in season 3. I hope it's better, but season 2 had the double blow of a last-minute episode count cut. Disgustingly last minute. Right before a strike that prevented rewrites. And the rewrites would not have affected the things that were fundamental story changes. I realize that now, but little things that people complain about, like episodes 5 and 6 were very poorly paced. Well, yeah, I can see that's where they should have had more refinements, rewrites, and pacing. I expected that from a strike season. And it's in the past, so it's not like season 3 won't have that problem anymore, so I wasn't upset about it. I'm upset about the story things they may or may not have changed in season 3. We don't know what they are, but so much of the rhetoric, if you can even call that, being thrown at Ryan Condal and Sarah Hess, the top 2 writers, has nothing to do with the things that were genuinely story changes they believed in. Not even things like Nettles, which we think are things that are beyond their control. People who are completely casual shit posters online who don't look anything up and just post what they feel rather than and everyone they don't like is the devil. It's 0 to 11, this you killed my dog level of anger. Where does that hate come from? That level of hate for something you didn't even research. I really can't. It's that there's no nuance anymore. That social media just turned into echo chambers, glorified memes, and groupthink. Why am I bringing this up again? Because we have been bombarded, tell me in the comments your feelings on this, that bombarded all over the place since season 2 ended last August by people commenting over and over again, Condal and Hess wanted there to be 8 episodes. No. Or, I've actually seen people, and I've made videos criticizing them, people who wanted attention by making a video going to take advantage of other people going, oh, Condal and Hess wanted an 8-episode season, and they wanted it to focus on a Rhaenyra Allison scene because they felt that was they preferred that over having a battle scene. What? When anyone... There's... No... Now, let me be clear, I don't like that scene for story reasons. I think that wasn't for story stuff, but say what you will of that, that was never intended to be the finale. The idea that they wanted it in there, that's one thing. That they wanted it to be the finale and like this more than the battle scenes is quite another. I'm not even sure if they always intended that scene to be there, or if they cobbled it together at the last minute to try to end on something big once they lost their battle. I mean, it's a small-scale scene they could have easily done at the last minute, I don't know. That isn't something they did because they preferred it, ending with this Rhaenyra Allison scene. That wasn't a choice they wanted, even if they wanted it in there. They didn't think this was structurally an endpoint. But it's just in one ear and out the other with some people, that you point to verified, solid evidence that the cast and crew are now openly saying, multiple interviews, this was meant to be a 10-episode season, then cut to 8 at the last minute. And it just doesn't compute. It's like in the comment sections or on social media feeds, they just go right on replying to you as if you gave the response they wish you did. That if you say, we have cited proof this was to be a 10-episode season, and of course Condal and Hess were always planning to short us with 8 episodes. Seriously? And then you wonder why I block these people. And you shouldn't engage with that, it's just get rid of them. Thankfully, actual channel runners are talking like that. But the idea that clickbaiter channel that made that thing going, well, of course they planned this as the ending when we have cited proof they didn't. Like multiple directors saying I was originally doing episode 9, and then there was a last-minute change. That isn't something they intended to do. And when you tell people, it just does not compute. And it goes over and over again. And I've even seen people following up with variant of that. Well, it's Ryan Condal's job, one line in that whole hour-long thing blasting them, which I made a response to. One line, without really thinking it through. Well, it was Ryan Condal's job to rewrite Season 8 in such a way that Episode 8 was the Battle of the Gullet, and they cut out other stuff to fit the battle in. And listen to yourself, we're telling you, this was so last minute. There physically wasn't time to rewrite it, even if, regardless of what they cut out to be able to fit that in, they couldn't have done that even if they wanted to. And even though Condal and Hess have made story decisions I disagree with, strongly in some cases, I wouldn't disown them, but I would sternly tell them this isn't working for some storylines. The idea that it is physically absurd and a baseless accusation, which makes me and the other fans look bad for some idiot to go, well, of course it's physically possible to rewrite a 10-episode season to 8 in about a month. What? That is... You do not speak for the rest of us. You have no idea what you're talking about. This is the Dunning-Kruger effect in action, of stupid people not realizing what they're saying. And it's weird that, well, I'm criticizing the show too, then why am I disagreeing with you? Because you are lowering all this. It isn't a measured, nuanced review or assessment. And as much as I might disagree, I'll agree with Connell and Hess on some other things that I think they did well. Certain things in Season 2 they did not, and I'm very worried. And I'll talk about that in my other videos, but I honestly wonder how much of this is just spillover from other toxic fandoms. That format of the way we respond to media. Did younger people that grew up with iPhones just get stupider? Am I Sigourney Weaver in Aliens the second movie coming back after 57 years of hypersleep and asking, did IQ points really drop suddenly while I was gone? That even after repeatedly saying, and here's another director saying I was originally going to be part of a 10-episode season, it was a last-minute cut, there was nothing the writers could have done. That objectively wasn't their fault. People believing what they want to believe. We've got the talk. Is what's happening to us what happened to Star Wars fandom, where it's just turned into this cult of hating on Kathleen Kennedy? Even though there's things Kathleen Kennedy's done I disagree with, and I really think it's time to get new blood in there. And she said she's just started the look for a replacement. It's a years-long process because she's moving on to other things. Whatever, that why her and not like Disney executives who outrank her and are also part of the decision-making process? And just, it's a simplistic answer. It lets other people off the hook. And in many cases, it's this persecution complex of, rather than, well, I think this person is incompetent. How many times have you seen, it became, when South Park is making fun of it, you know it's turned into a thing. People going, Kathleen Kennedy is literally the devil and personally trying to castrate me by ruining my favorite TV show. Sir, this is a Wendy's drive-thru, and you're accusing Kennedy of ruining Daredevil, when I'm pretty sure Kennedy only has oversight on, Star Wars projects, not Marvel projects. Blank stare. Continues. And did I mention how Kennedy ruined Mrs. Marvel? Wait, what? What? It's the thought control doublethink. Well, actually, I think in Orwell it'd be called duck speak. That just your mind is turned off. Even when this is someone you want to criticize, these aren't grounded criticisms. This person is literally trying to ruin my life on purpose, me personally. I don't think Kathleen Kennedy knows who you are, nor is this some social agenda. They're trying to sell TV shows, and they're not always good at it. So, I really wonder if we inherited a lot of that, and it's the younger crowd. I can't tell how old people are in these comments, but even when faced with this in black and white, yes, Alan Taylor was supposed to do Battle of the Gullet as episode 9 of season 2. They're still blaming specifically the loss of the battle scene on Condell and Hess when that was one thing we know was beyond their control. And this is a distraction from measured arguments and discussions which we hope that Condell would be having about purely story things for the direction certain characters are going. And they're not going to listen to that if they're being barraged with, and of course it's their fault, it was an 8-episode season and we didn't get Gullet. This isn't helping. So like I say, I wasn't planning this, so I just turned my microphone on. I'm not editing images into it. I don't think I need to edit it at all, but I do think House of the Dragon Season 3 will flow a lot better, as unlike Season 2, it was planned from the beginning as an 8-episode season, without a writer's strike that they can refine it with rewrites and reshoots. Of course, Martin himself wasn't upset about that. What Martin is upset about is other things which we can only speculate on, which they told him that these are our intentions for future seasons. No one knows that for sure. We can make guesses because it's things that were set up in Season 2. So, I'm pretty sure that I said just as Season 6 was not an improvement over Season 5, but didn't it feel better superficially because there was more action, it seemed to flow better, because Season 5 they were not sure which subplots they'd even start up again or not. So like I have less respect even now for Benioff and Weiss, that it's not just that you dropped the Dorne subplot, you foolishly wasted 40 minutes of screen time on Season 5 in it, then dropped it after ruining it, when you could have just cut it from the beginning and devoted 40 minutes to showing off Arya and Jon Snow, other things that were cut that could have shown off the actors, which is what they really wanted to do. That this lack of planning in Season 5, by Season 6, they at least, it felt like it was flowing better and had a big climax with a battle scene. If the casual viewers could praise Season 6 despite everything wrong with it for that, so long as Season 3 has big battles, ends with, we're pretty sure it's going to end with the Battle of Tumbleton, which is a great climax cliffhanger. If it builds up to that, if it just episode to episode, it's not like I liked episodes 5 and 6 scene by scene, even though I admit as a whole episode it's just jumbles of scenes put together, they're not as cohesive. I could see how rewrites could have smoothed it out. If nothing else, I think Season 3 will flow better and have more action in it, so the question isn't even does it make sense to book fans, it's to a TV-only audience. Will this look improved? Like if they cut Nettles and merge her with Rhaena or something, they wouldn't know that. But what if it's other things like, we're worried they're softening Rhaenyra and Alicent? Even though we have hints that Rhaenyra is going to get more ruthless, I mean, they hint at that. I'm going to get to that in the main video, but I think there is cautious hope for Season 3 as a TV season. And it's April now. And because they can do reshoots, they can reshoot a dialogue-based scene or two as late as next March or April if they need to. We have a good 10 to 12 months. I mean, filming started this week, and it just got out in the public again as making the rounds that Condell finally publicly admitted, yes, George and I aren't really speaking, we're not seeing eye to eye on this. It's the one question I'm left with is, it's HBO's job to make sure these guys are at least negotiating, and this is what's going to go on in the main video, I'm sorry, just someone needs to actually address this behind the scenes instead of just letting it continue, one way or another, or maybe these do need refinements, purely story-based ones. Everything that is due to production-based problems I understand. It is distracting from the story criticisms. Is it just easier for people to, simplistic for people to blame a scapegoat, a name like Ryan Condal, Sarah Hess, rather than this complex interplay of economic factors that Warner Brothers is in a bad financial position, the streaming boom is retracting, a paragraph-long list of explanations versus Sarah Hess is a bitch. It's so weird seeing people latch on to the simplistic answer rather than shit I got just from reading a generic news article. It's more complicated than that. It's not like I have any creator insight, I just pay attention. One thing I will be interested in, though, in terms of the people who are still going, well, it's their fault we didn't get Battle of the Gullet at the end of Season 2. It is the studio's fault that happened, and it is ridiculous how they were treated. And I don't know if it's ever going to get better. I mean, okay, you want an 8-episode season for higher turnaround, fine. Give us more seasons. I don't know if we're going to get a season, probably, assuredly not. I hope we get more episodes in Season 4. I don't know what the world is going to be like then. We're just starting to film Season 3, but I'm assuming they're not, if in case you're saying that. But one thing I am interested on, that I'll leave on, I wonder how the unthinking, groupthink, meme-led toxic fandoms of the world are going to react to The Last of Us Season 2. Because that starts next weekend on April 13th. And it ends May 25th. Because while Season 1 had 9 episodes and covered the first video game pretty well, Season 2 has only 7 episodes. Maybe because of the episode reductions at Warner, maybe not, because they said the second game is so long, we're going to cover it across 2 seasons, split in half. That actually makes a lot of sense. Season 2, then Season 3. Nonetheless, I don't know if people even pay attention to that who played the game. Well, shit, you're only doing 7 episodes for the first half, I have to wait another 2 years for the other half? Well, yeah, because a 15-episode season to cover the whole thing would be a bit much. I can see the argument for, well, let's make a shorter season with higher turnaround at this level of production. It's only 7 episodes. And the finale is May 25th. So May 25th is, are we going to wake up, turn on our social media feeds, and find this giant wave, meme-led wave of toxic fandom accusing Craig Mazin of being a radical Marxist lesbian like Kathleen Kennedy because it ended after only 7 episodes, and the main character played by Bella Ramsey, who is canonically and overtly a lesbian in both the show and the video game is based on. That is why the character is like that. They'll go, Mazin supports these lesbians. That's what Ellie was. And it also, and he's woke like Kathleen Kennedy, and he wanted 7 episodes to hurt us. And all those other character deaths that happen in the game are because they hate men. And that's what happened in the game. Take it up with the game writers, not Craig Mazin. Or is it just easier to grasp, latch onto a name like that in defiance of the facts on the ground? It's Sarah Hess's fault that Battle of the Gullet was cut. It's Craig Mazin's fault this is only a 7-episode season. It's Craig Mazin's fault that Ellie is a lesbian. But these are things we know didn't happen. It's weird seeing how... Is this what the algorithm is doing to our minds, to the younger crowd who grew up with all of this, that this is not what the level of discussion was before this, and we had our own problems back in the 2010s, don't get me wrong, of groupthink and people wanting to believe something made sense. People went into the end of Game of Thrones who wanted it to be good, therefore they wouldn't question it. Same thing happened on Battlestar Galactica and Lost, particularly Lost because it was so widespread of, I refuse to admit that they're making it up as they go along, or that there are blatant problems, let's get hype. This is really before Twitter was really driving people, or other social media platforms, and now that's just fueling the groupthink. And what's scary is no one person is directing it, it's just the echo chamber. memes are easier to spread than complex nuance. I don't know. So we are in a pretty scary spot right now, but the one thing I will say before, this is just the easy to dash off audio only, I'm not editing it thing. I will make a longer response, but I felt I am so terrified that I want to hear what Red Team Review and Preston Jacobs said. They're making a really detailed podcast going over Ryan Condal's recent comments. And they had a relatively nuanced response in their first videos about this, first reactions, also reiterating what I did, that, well, I disagree with Condal, but there is no nuance, and you're blaming him for things that he had no control over. Actually, both George and Condal do have valid points in their own ways. They're both right and both wrong in different ways. And the biggest thing we can all agree on is they need to sort this out and do something. The show is stronger with them working together. I don't know, and I'm very scared. But I can't just stop running my channel, because then I'd be abandoning you guys to those people who are just memes, who are going, well, of course, they wanted 8-episode season 2. Director said it was supposed to be 10 episodes. So I'm going to stick around, if only because I can't abandon you guys to the purpose of why I started my channel in the first place, right before Game of Thrones Season 7, was to fight misinformation. That there was so much misinformation going around that people weren't even researching shit the writers openly said on the Blu-ray commentaries. I said, I need people, the media has failed us, we need people out there reporting on this. I can only hope that, like ripping the Band-Aid off, the fact that this has come back up into the conversation means that by this Sunday, and probably by next Sunday, I think there's going to be a lot more online activity when Last of Us starts up again, that it'll make enough noise in the news sphere that maybe this discourages or encourages HBO to do something, someone, somewhere, to yell at Condal or other writers of, look, make concessions to George, or George, you need to think about this. I don't know. It's better than just silently accepting. For 7 months since last September, we've been silently sitting around not really addressing this. Now things are in motion. With the passage of time, I'm not, people shooting out, oh, you're being hopelessly optimistic. Actually, I'm not. I'm just saying you don't know. But I don't think we have a lot of time ahead of us. Even 10 months from now, they might make changes and reshoots. I don't know. One thing's for sure, be on the lookout these next 7 weeks until May 25th. Until The Last of Us Season 2 ends. And if people are similarly outraged at, this was a shortened season, and there's a lesbian kiss in the trailer, that literally happened shot for shot in the video game. That, is this just the state of online discourse with, they took all of the on X, formerly known as Twitter, they took off all the breaks, they took off all the controls that would have weeded out the type of person who likes to spread misinformation and baseless accusations rather than structured criticisms. And no, there are problems with House of the Dragon, but I haven't given up on it completely, if only because the future is unknown, and I'll judge it when I see it. So far, at least, what little info we have about Season 3 has been pretty positive. That we think they're giving Jane Aaron more to do, they're giving Daeron a lot more screen time than I originally thought they would. This was supposed to be 5 minutes, then I said, okay, with no edits, I can make, okay, it's a half-hour video. I don't even need to edit this for sound, because I did it all without pause, without coughing, thankfully. This is a quick video I could put out audio only, because I need to put more thought into my response on the Ryan Condal statements, and look, Martin's being unreasonable. I have been sharing on my, like and subscribe, because on my channel posts I've been sharing videos by other people. I openly say, I'm so scared about this, I'd rather share with you good videos by other people than trust my own words of their assessments. Like what D. Charles said, what Red Team Review said, Fentany, other people that, if you are listening to my voice now, and you have a YouTube channel, those of you who do, and you've been relatively inactive, filming has started up again. You can't just be around for when live episodes are coming out. And if there wasn't really much to talk about, the winter is over. Live filming, casting news, there are things to be making YouTube videos about. The one thing we can't do is silence, because that will change nothing. I feel bad that this Ryan Condal, George Martin thing has come into the news again, but it's better to have it, to shine the light on it, and to dialectic discourse about it. Anything is better than just learned helplessness and silence. We can't have that level of learned helplessness, and it's not the same as Game of Thrones. All is not lost, I don't know what to think, but the short one-sentence thing, if you ask me, is I defer to Red Team Review and Preston Jacobs. They're smarter than I am about this, better informed, and usually have a better, less panicky opinion than I do, because I am very demoralized by this. Not just that there's problems with the studio, but the way people responded to it. When there's a director and people saying it was meant to be 10 episodes, the studio screwed us over. Well, why are you fixated on Ryan Condal instead of blaming the studio head like David Zaslav? No, it has to be the showrunner's fault. Why that one person and not the other person? I really don't, because they're the face that you see in the behind-the-scenes videos. It's easier to blame them. Do people that watch Lord of the Rings Amazon show blame Jeff Bezos more because the Lord of the Rings showrunners don't really do behind-the-scenes videos as much, and they're less visible? Is it really just associating a name with a face, and well, clearly they wanted this? Up until Martin got upset, I thought Season 2, for a season made during a strike with a last-minute episode cut, went, okay, I think they can fix this next season. Or there were problems, they're moving forward, they'll get back into what the books did next season. Then Martin said he was really upset. That is what freaked me out, not Season 2 itself. Is Martin overreacting? Because Martin was in a terrible mental state in 2024. Like, his oldest friend, Howard Waldrop, died. And when he made that blog post, even as late as July, or the first one, the Adaptation Tango, he was not in a good mental place. And then he wrote that other thing in September when he was still on his Europe trip. He said he felt recharged from that. I don't think he has really changed his position much. I hope the TV show can make some concessions to Martin to show they respect him. But just where is HBO doing their job on trying to coordinate this when you give so much respect to J.K.? You blindly follow J.K. Rowling, but you won't support Martin, who now has multiple shows at your thing. Not just this, but Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Don't you want to make him happy by kind of getting the other thing in line or giving them more episodes? How many, and this is all going to be my other videos I'm working on, the state of Warner of just, you wasted so much money in your movie division that could have bought 20 episodes. But no, let's cut to 8 episode season. Again, I would be fine with 8 episode seasons if they were planned in advance and let them go through season 5. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, as long as it's 40 episodes. They're not doing that so far. Sometimes the world changes when you don't expect it. Things are pretty bad now, but they clearly, this was such a last-minute change that was beyond the control of the showrunners. I look forward to the Red Team Review, Preston Jacobs podcast, which will probably be the most important podcast they've done since the Season 2 finale in early August. And I look forward to seeing, are people going to be chill about Last of Us Season 2, or are we going to see this eerie mirror image of that same type of harassment over Last of Us Season 2 through the end of May? It's already early April. Please like and subscribe. I have a lot of videos to make, and we're going to go on this journey together.